Let's get started with our first news. Lightweight contender. Arman Tsarukyan is making headlines after posting a photo of himself training in Alicante, Spain, the very hometown where Ilia Topuria is known to sharpen his skills. But this wasn't just a scenic change of camp. This move carried a clear message, and Arman didn't hold back. Alongside the photo, Arman captioned it, "Still training, and the duck is still ducking." The jab wasn't subtle. It was a direct shot at Ilia Topuria, implying that Topuria is avoiding a potential showdown. The post sparked immediate buzz online, lighting up social media and escalating the tension between these two rising stars. Fans are already speculating whether this rivalry is heading toward a full-blown war inside the octagon. Now, here's the big question. Would you rather see Arman Tsarukyan go head-to-head with Ilia Topuria in a clash of pride, momentum, and the future of the lightweight division? Or would you prefer to see Tsarukyan take on Justin Gaethje, one of the most respected and dangerous veterans in the sport, in a potential #1 contender fight? Each matchup tells a different story. A fight between Arman and Ilia would be personal. It's a grudge match fueled by rivalry, potential, and the desire to prove who truly deserves to carry the lightweight torch into the next generation. Both are young, hungry, and brimming with talent. Their clash would almost guarantee fireworks, explosive exchanges, non-stop pace, and raw emotion. The kind of fight that keeps fans on the edge of their seats from the opening bell. On the other hand, a battle between Tsarukyan and Gaethje would be a different kind of war. Gaethje is a legend in the making, relentless, aggressive, and known for his violent, fan-friendly style. His durability and power have become hallmarks of his career. For Tsarukyan, this wouldn't just be a step up, it would be the ultimate test of his composure, grit, and ability to hang with the very best. And if Arman were to win that fight, it would place him in prime position for a shot at the title. Either way, fans win. Whether it's the rising star rivalry with Topuria or a high-stakes war with Gaethje, both matchups promise to be explosive and unforgettable. All that's left now is to see which direction the UFC decides to go. One thing is certain, Arman Tsarukyan is making big moves, and he's not afraid to stir the pot. Stay tuned, this story is only just getting started. Before we move on to the next headline, we have a quick favor to ask. We're constantly working to improve our content and bring you the latest updates in MMA. If you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting the like button, subscribing to the channel, and clicking the bell icon so you never miss an update. And don't forget, we want to hear from you. Let us know in the comments what you think we should cover or improve. Your feedback means everything to us. Moving on to the next big story, Mike Perry shuts down the idea of fighting Conor McGregor, boldly claiming that McGregor is still owned by the UFC. While it's no secret that Conor McGregor has 2 fights remaining on his UFC contract, he's been very vocal about his desire to eventually step away from the octagon and try his hand at bare-knuckle fighting. Specifically under the BKFC Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship bannerware, Mike Perry is currently making waves. But according to Perry, all the buzz surrounding a potential McGregor-Perry matchup is nothing more than smoke and mirrors for now. In Perry's words, it's a fantasy, and he doesn't believe the fight is realistic, especially considering McGregor's contractual obligations with the UFC. During a recent BKFC press conference, Perry explained that when he was announcing his next big fight, McGregor jumped in and stole the moment. Perry recalled, "I called him out, and he had to protect himself." According to Perry, McGregor responded by saying, "You'll dance for me on October 11th. Perry continued, "He's out here announcing my fight date, but let's be real. I'm not fighting him. He's still under contract. He's owned by the UFC. They're holding on tight. He can't get out. He's not fighting me. He's just promoting for us." That's a bold statement, but it underscores a key reality. Conor McGregor remains under exclusive UFC rights, limiting his ability to freely enter other promotions like BKFC, no matter how much fans want to see him face off with Perry in a bare-knuckle ring. Meanwhile, McGregor isn't exactly staying quiet. In fact, he's showing strong signs of preparing for a return. This week, he officially re-entered the UFC's drug testing pool, a clear signal that he's gearing up for another fight. McGregor even shared photos of a USADA agent visiting him while he was on his yacht. No less. He followed that up with a video revealing a new mohawk haircut and a plaster on his shoulder, explaining, "I gave my first blood test. That's what the plaster is for. I'm ecstatic. I'm in shape." And in typical McGregor fashion, he didn't stop there. In a separate post, he teased fans with the phrase, "Return of the Mac." It's a strong hint that the former champion is not just getting ready, he's itching to come back. Adding fuel to the fire, McGregor even took a shot at Ilia Topuria, calling out the rising star for allegedly copying his iconic tattoos, a move that stirred up even more buzz online. All signs are pointing to one major development. We may finally be getting the long-awaited McGregor versus Michael Chandler fight. Things are heating up fast. and you won't want to miss what comes next. Stay tuned. In a recent interview with Betway South Africa, reigning middleweight champion Dricus du Plessis had nothing but praise for fellow UFC stars Ilia Topuria and Tom Aspinall. Speaking with genuine admiration, du Plessis reflected on his shared journey, with Topuria saying, "I'm so happy for him. We actually made our debuts on the same fight card. He was literally in my changing room back then. We were on the same trajectory, both grinding, working our way up and then winning our titles just a month apart. So yeah, I'm super proud of him." Du Plessis went on to make a bold prediction about the featherweight champion. "I think Ilia is one of those special fighters destined to be in the UFC Hall of Fame. No doubt in my mind. He's unbeaten, the first undefeated fighter to hold 2 titles. That alone puts him in elite company." He continued his admiration, highlighting Topuria's skills. "I rate him very highly, not just as a striker, but as an all-around fighter. When it comes to striking power, let's be real, he's knocked out 3 legends. That's not luck. That's pure talent and execution. In my opinion, he's one of the best, if not the best, fighters in the UFC right now." Du Plessis also praised interim heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall, calling him a standout among the new generation of heavyweights. "Honestly, the first time I saw Tom fight, I knew there was something special about him. He doesn't fight like the old-school brawlers. He moves like a middleweight. He's light on his feet. He can grapple. He can strike. He can wrestle. He's the complete package." Reflecting on his personal interactions with Aspinall, he added, "I've spoken to Tom quite a few times. He's a great guy, and I genuinely believe he's going to be champion for a long time. There aren't many, if any, heavyweights out. They're on his level right now. He's something different." Fans are understandably hyped for Aspinall's first title defense, which is set to be against Cyril Gane. However, not everyone views the matchup as evenly balanced. Speaking through a translator on the Ariel Helwani show, Garzino Rosenstrick gave his thoughts. "I'm pretty sure Aspinall beats Gane. It looks like Gane has other priorities in his life right now. And at this level, you can't afford that. If you're going for the UFC heavyweight title, you have to be no distractions. It doesn't seem like that's where Gane's head is anymore." Looking ahead, fans are buzzing with excitement over the possibility that, should both du Plessis and Aspinall successfully defend their titles, they could co-headline a future UFC mega event. Just imagine 2 dominant champions defending their belts on the same night under the same spotlight. That would be nothing short of electric. Let's now move on to a heated and highly controversial topic dominating MMA discussions: Ilia Topuria's recent comments about potentially vacating his featherweight title rather than facing Arman Tsarukyan have stirred a strong reaction from UFC legends and analysts alike. Former UFC middleweight champion Michael Bisping and retired lightweight Paul Felder did not hold back during a recent episode of the Believe You Me podcast, where they addressed Topuria's remarks with sharp criticism. According to Bisping, this kind of mindset is becoming increasingly common in today's generation of fighters, and he's not impressed. "Come on, man, we're getting a little carried away," Bisping began. "This generation of fighters, they get to the top, they want to jump weight classes, chase big-name fights, and avoid actual #1 contenders. That's not how it works. If you're the champ and the UFC says this guy is next, then that's who you fight, period." Bisping didn't stop there. He questioned the intent behind Topuria's bold statement. Why is he even saying that? Is it just to get under Arman's skin? Maybe, but if he actually said he would vacate the belt instead of fighting Tsarukyan, then we have to hold him to that. You can't talk like that and still call yourself the baddest man in the division. Paul Felder, co-hosting the podcast, echoed Bisping's disappointment and emphasized that champions should be willing to prove their dominance inside the cage. "If you're going to say a guy's not on your level, then prove it," Felder stated. "Step into the cage and show everyone that he doesn't belong there. That's what being the best is all about. If you're not willing to do that, then what are we even doing here?" This critique struck a chord with many in the MMA community. The idea of ducking legitimate top-ranked contenders cuts against the core of what makes mixed martial arts so exciting. Fans want to see the best fight the best, not manufactured title reigns driven by popularity or convenience. Ilia Topuria, who remains undefeated and has built a reputation as one of the most dangerous featherweights in the UFC, is undeniably talented, but refusing to face someone like Arman Tsarukyan, an equally skilled and feared lightweight, could tarnish his credibility if his comment reflects a genuine stance and not just pre-fight bravado. At the end of the day, champions are measured not only by the belts they collect, but by who they fight to earn them and who they defend them against. If the UFC decides Tsarukyan is next, and Topuria truly believes he's on another level, then the octagon is the only place to prove it. No excuses, no shortcuts, just fight. Let's now turn to one of the biggest questions circulating among MMA fans. Why is the UFC delaying major fights like Ilia Topuria versus Paddy Pimblett and Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Madeleine by Itera? incredible depth in both the lightweight and welterweight divisions. There's been almost no movement at the top. No official fight announcements, no dates, and no confirmed matchups. Even the fighters themselves, Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev, included, have publicly expressed confusion and frustration regarding the status of their next bouts. However, insight from the latest episode of the Weighing In podcast, featuring Josh Thompson and Big John McCarthy, may shed some light on the situation. According to Thompson, the delays may be rooted in business strategy, not matchmaking and decision. The core of the issue lies with the UFC's current media deal. Under the existing ESPN model, the UFC receives a flat fee for each event, regardless of how many buys it generates. Whether an event is a blockbuster or a bust, the UFC's revenue remains unchanged. But that's all about to shift with an upcoming partnership between the UFC and Netflix. With Netflix entering the picture, the UFC's future profits will likely be tied directly to actual PPV sales. This means the UFC has a strong financial incentive to delay big-name matchups until after the Netflix deal officially begins. Launching this new era with major super fights will create buzz and deliver a higher return on investment. In short, the UFC is playing the long game. What does that mean for stars like Topuria and Makhachev? It suggests the UFC is protecting them. These two are key marketing assets for the company. The UFC doesn't want to risk either fighter losing in a less meaningful bout before the more lucrative PPV model goes live. A loss now could hurt the marketability of a main event on one of the first Netflix cards. This strategy isn't unprecedented. The UFC has already delayed fights like Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler and Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic, so postponing another few months for Makhachev and Topuria aligns with their business-first approach. Even if it frustrates fans. Josh Thompson also speculated on how this could play out. If Jack Della Maddalena wins his next fight, the UFC may be positioning him for a massive showdown with Makhachev to headline a Netflix debut. Meanwhile, Arman Tsarukyan versus Justin Gaethje could be booked to keep the lightweight division moving and maintain fan interest, while fans may feel left in the dark. It's becoming increasingly clear that this silence is strategic. The UFC is setting the stage for a high-stakes, high-reward rollout of its next chapter, one where every fight could mean millions more in revenue. Let's close things out with some unfortunate and disappointing news for fight fans. Dana White has officially announced the cancellation of an upcoming UFC bout due to injury. The fight, originally scheduled for UFC Shanghai next month, was expected to be an exciting clash between Song Kyanan and Kiefer Crosby, an intriguing matchup that many considered a strong addition to the card. However, that bout is now officially off. Multiple sources confirm that Song Kyanan suffered a serious injury to his right eye, which required immediate medical attention. The situation escalated to the point where he had to undergo surgery. A video surfaced showing Kyanan preparing for the procedure, appearing calm, but clearly aware of the seriousness of the moment. In the footage, he is later seen being off the operating table, his eye covered with a large patch following the surgery. As of now, there is no confirmed information regarding the full extent of his injury. Neither the UFC nor Song Kyanan's camp has provided further clarification on the nature of the damage or an expected recovery timeline. What has been confirmed is that Song Kyanan will not be competing at UFC Shanghai on August 23rd. This cancellation is yet another reminder of how unpredictable the sport of MMA can be. Injuries are always a looming risk, and when they occur, they can disrupt an entire fight card. For fans in China, this bout was particularly meaningful, a rare opportunity to watch a hometown fighter perform on home soil. Unfortunately, that moment will now have to wait. As for Kiefer Crosby, his status remains unclear. It is still uncertain whether the UFC will attempt to find him a replacement opponent in time for the event. That wraps up today's update. But don't go far, there's a lot more on the horizon. Fights are heating up, rivalries are getting personal, and the UFC continues to operate behind the scenes in unprecedented ways. Whether it's shocking call-outs, surprise announcements, or last-minute changes like this one, it's all part of the ever-evolving world of MMA. Stay tuned, because things are only just getting started.